I've been almost debt-free for over a decade now, and I want to share a few things that no one tells you about the debt-free journey. Hi, I'm Rhea, founder and finance coach of City Girl Savings. I help women create and stick to realistic budget plans to reach whatever goals they have, and that includes becoming debt-free. I got into credit card debt over a decade ago because I had a problem with accumulating material things. I would look to shop to feel better about myself, and it would literally take me an hour or so to spend thousands of dollars. And that leads me into the first thing no one tells you about the debt-free journey. It's not an overnight process. It may take literally minutes to get deep into debt, but it can take years to get yourself out of it. So when you are ready to work towards being debt-free, just level set with yourself and your expectations and understand that it may take you some years to get out of debt, but that doesn't mean it's not worth working towards. The next thing no one tells you about the debt-free journey is that you need a budget to be successful. So when I got into credit card debt, I did not have a budget, and therefore I did not know or understand my spending limits. And if I'm being honest, I probably would have ignored my spending limits anyways. But now that I have a budget, I know how much I can afford to spend on material, discretionary, regular things. So if I do use a credit card at this point in my life, I know that I'm using it within the limits of my budget. A budget is also important when you are on your debt-free journey because your budget will tell you what you can afford to put towards your debt payoff progress, okay? So what we don't want to happen is you have $500 after your paycheck has been allocated to bills and spending, and then you put that full $500 towards debt when you actually need a portion of it to get you through the next pay period. So make sure you have a solid budget plan in place when you are embarking on your debt-free journey. The next thing no one tells you about the debt-free journey is that you need to get to the root cause of what got you into debt in the first place. So me personally, I thought when I got myself out of credit card debt that I had learned to control my spending on material things. However, a couple years later, I ended up getting into debt a second time, not for spending on material things, but for spending money on marketing and advertising for my business. So that high I would get from accumulating material things translated into a high I would get for sending traffic to my website, for just seeing my marketing dollars go to work. And that taught me that it's not just a material thing, it's not just a spending high thing. There is a true root cause that needs to be addressed if you want to become debt-free and actually stay debt-free. And finally, no one tells you that just because you got yourself out of debt doesn't mean you can't get back into debt. So again, I got myself into and out of debt multiple times, and it's because I didn't address the root cause of what got me into debt in the first place. Please don't make the mistake of thinking that just because you paid off all your debt, you paid off all your credit cards, you paid everything off, that your future self can't get back into debt. You have to make a conscious effort, decision, be intentional with your money and spending for the rest of your life, and that doesn't need to be anything crazy, right? But you do have to be intentional with your money to avoid getting back into debt. Just because you got out of it once doesn't mean you can't get back into it a second time. If you have debt, just know you're not alone. I have been there. I understand what you're going through, but I know that if someone like me, someone who loves to travel, who loves iced coffees, who is just a millennial working woman, can get herself out of debt, you can too.